How we doing?
Not bad, man. What is up?
Ben, it has been okay, cool, we live. It has been a day, my friend. It's been a day.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
it's
This
been,
is the last thing I got to do, and just got to drag myself over the finish line here.
oh, dude, I still have more to do after this. So I've had I've had a weekend, I've had a week, I've had a day. Like, I am happy to be wearing this fucking logo, though, and I'm happy to be talking about this trade being finalized. I can tell you that right now. That's long overdue. I don't know if you heard what I just said, but
No, it's just I was getting it in, but I'm guessing you're talking about Mr. A Rod, the new A Rod.
that's correct. That is correct.
But yeah,
Oh
if you want
man,
to if you want to jump right in, up to you.
yeah. Let's do it. Let's
Hello,
record.
everybody.
Hello, hello. Let's get the recording started. Boom, 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 boom.
Excuse me.
And welcome to a special Monday afternoon edition on a after a very, very long weekend of so many sporting things going on for the New York sports teams. This
Mostly
isn't
dad.
our year. This isn't our year. If you're a fan of the New York Islanders, this isn't our year for sure. If you're a fan of the Brooklyn Nets, it wasn't our weekend if you're a fan of the New York Metropolitans, and there's still more strife to come with that.
All right.
But it was overall a good road trip. But
Yes.
This could be our year, Doug, if you're a fan of the New York Jets. Because we're not going to bury the lead this time, Doug. We're going to jump right the fuck into it. First of all, are you drinking today? Because it is a Monday, and this is a weird day to drink, right? Because you probably drank all weekend.
It is. Well, I actually did because we had a weekend with the in-laws, so we just went out to dinner like every night. So there was much wine and
So
rejoicing.
Lots of vino.
Absolutely. I actually got them into the hockey, so there's some beers too. But today, You're right. This is like the last thing I want to do on a Monday, but I do it for the show. I do it for you guys. I am a little big cranky today. With that in mind, this is Streak Brewing. I think these guys are from around here, but it's a 9.5, which should quickly adjust the attitude on my part. So, cheers, buddy, and take it away. By the way, with Mr. A.
Cheers.
Are you drinking to this?
I am drinking some black cherry to this. Some black cherry soda. I am not drinking alcohol. I will probably break something in my home if I drink alcohol out of sheer frustration.
Wow.
But that has nothing to do with the trade for Mr. Aaron Rodgers. I'm going to say the trade has been consummated today. You know, the consummation, like prima nocta, right?
Right.
So long time coming. So it was Aaron Rodgers, the Packers' first, 15th overall, and the Packers' 5th round pick. I don't know what number it is overall.
170-ish.
And we give them 13. So we slide back 2 picks.
Yep.
We give them our 2nd round pick, the top of the 2 of them, number 42 overall. And we gave them, did we give them a 6th? Was that also involved?
Yeah, there's another pick in there that's later on this year. And but obviously the conditional, which I'm going to ask you about.
So we give them a 6, right? And everyone's, if you just looked at that, everyone's fine.
Yeah.
Now the conditional pick next year is a 2nd round 2024 that turns into a 1st if he plays 65% of the snaps.
Sure.
So that's the one everyone's up in arms about.
Yeah, but under that condition, right, that's if he plays 65% of the snaps, even though the AFC is tough as hell, you got to think that pick's going to be in the 20s, right?
Right. So let me just start by saying I'm glad he's finally on the Jets. I think that I would have hoped to not give up a 1st round pick next year with trading down two spots in the first this year and a second. And then they gave us a fifth for a sixth. So we actually moved up later in the draft, right? Which, any pick after any pick after 100 is more like a lottery ticket, right?
Right.
So, okay, we got a little bit better chance. So now we have 2 fifth-round picks. I think, and you saw today the Jets also re-signed Connor McGovern because I think
did not see that.
Yeah, so they re-signed their starting center from the last 3 years today, and he is. So now we've solidified our line. We at least have a starter to be able to plug in, and not hoping for the draft, which they were a lot of mocks giving a second-round pick for a center, which could still happen, and a first-round pick for a tackle, which probably will still happen. But all that being said,
Giants needs, by the way. But yeah.
We'll get into that in a second. We talk about the draft in a second, but
much later. But yeah, look, it seems like Green Bay did very well here, especially against the rumors that were flying around. So I can see why maybe you're a little annoyed today or frustrated. Is that Jets Nation feels?
I think I haven't been so fucking busy on this Monday morning, afternoon, Doug, that I haven't even had a chance to dissect it, or even think about dissecting it myself. My initial reaction is, I'm not that upset. I think, like you said, it's probably if we play the way we're supposed to play, it's probably going to be a mid to late first round pick next year. And I'm going to go on the record as saying, I don't think this guy's not coming back next year.
Right.
Because he's guaranteed between this year and the end of next season $100 million. And I think he gets 59 of that next year, or 40. So he gets a little more than half of that next year, right? And we can restructure that to make it look like however it looks on the books and with the salary cap. But at the end of the day, like, he's getting a check stroked to him from the New York Jets next year. Now they can restructure it, right? But he's got guaranteed money coming. So it doesn't matter like all the salary cap gymnastics that they have to do to make it look a certain way. That money, that check is coming to him next year, right? If he plays. And if he doesn't play, he's not getting $62 million. Now, I know he's crazy in everyone's books, and he said maybe he wasn't going to come back this year, and maybe because he didn't want to play for the Packers anymore. But I don't know, man. I just don't see anyone walking away from, let's just call it $50 million guaranteed, right? I don't care how rich you are. Doug, if I told you you have all the money you need right now for the rest of your life, but you have to play one more year next year for $50 million, what are you going to do?
You still do it. But you also get pressured by your agent, obviously, and the union to maximize your career earnings. I would, of course, still jump at it myself. I'm sure you would too. Unless you had a good reason to retire, like I don't know, it's like something outside. But look, I agree with you. This trade is fine if he ends up playing 2 or more years for you guys. I don't mind it. And so it will be the alternative, him retiring or him hitting the open market. He's probably not getting that 50 somewhere else, right?
He can't hit the open market. We have him under contract for next year regardless. So he's either playing for us or he's retiring.
Or he's bugging out. Not impossible with this dude. But I wouldn't worry about that at this stage, man. Just enjoy this right now. Enjoy the coming year. It's going to be a battle in the NFC.
Right.
Holy shit.
Exactly. I will worry about next year. And, Joe Douglas has proven to be a pretty good tactician with trades. You want to shit on the Elijah Moore trade? You want to shit on the Aaron Rodgers trade? I guess you can look at the fucking value charts and say, okay, the Jets got robbed here, the Jets got robbed there. But, at the end of the day, this was the play, right? To get Lamar was going to cost way more, and you don't exactly know what you're getting, right? Every other quarterback that you signed was mid-grade, right? You're signing up for Kirk Cousins at best, Derek Carr average, Jimmy Garoppolo average at best.
You want to trade for Ryan Tannehill? No, you don't.
No, so like all those plays were like cool, like we'll get to the playoffs and we'll waste this nucleus. the guy that can take this team to where we all want to go, which is deep into the playoffs, maybe a Super Bowl run. The only guy, and I've said it from day one, was Aaron Rodgers. So he came out and said he wanted to come to us. We've obviously dead set focused on him. You know, we had to give and take a little to get it done. We didn't want this going into draft day, right? We wanted to have this all sorted away. And now we can finally move on. The next move is restructuring his contract so that we can get some salary cap relief. And then we can probably sign Mercedes Lewis and Randall Cobb and whatever other, you know, piece that comes with that.
Old timers that are coming in, Jordy Nelson, Donald Driver.
Well, we didn't. And the other thing is we didn't give up Corey Davis. So,
right. He's still around.
So we didn't give up Corey Davis, and we still have Carl Lawson on our roster. So those are two guys that a lot of people thought we were going to cut and get rid of, and we're keeping those guys around as well. So we've pretty much brought back our nucleus of last year. We got ourselves a bevy of draft picks, which I definitely think that Douglas will trade down in the first round and probably in the second round too to recoup more. Definitely, I think. I mean, I don't want to say definitely right because who knows, but I mean, we have a first, a second, a fourth, and 2 fifths right now, and then we're missing our either first or second next year, right? So I am pretty certain that he likes draft cat.
Yeah,
he's gonna want to pick up, you know, another. I think he's gonna want another pick between the first 3 rounds, and if he can trade down in the first to pick up a second or third or a second next year or something like that to ease the salt of on the wounds, I think that'll happen. And I've thought that since day one. I definitely thought we were gonna switch the first round pick and move back 2 because it just made too much sense. And I thought maybe we'd do the same thing in the second round, but just giving him the second round pick makes a lot of sense. So I think that's where we're headed. That's and I feel great about it.
It's a happy day in
second round
Jetland.
pick next year.
It's a happy day. I have all my green lights on today.
Yes,
you notice.
It's a happy day in Jetland. I got no complaints, Douglas. I got no complaints.
Although, I got to upgrade my camera or something. I have all the green lights on. I have some LEDs around the room now, but it's looking like piss colored.
Just looks dark. It just looks dark.
Yeah, yeah.
That's all right.
Upgrade my shit, but yeah. So here's what it looks like when you do Big Blue. I don't know. Is that any different?
That's better.
Okay.
So we've covered this Rodgers trade. Do you have anything else you want to add on that?
No. Again, like I just saw it like within the last hour, and my thoughts were, wow, that's actually a lot more than we thought that Green Bay was going to get from you guys. But maybe we were looking at it wrong, and they actually had the leverage here. So I don't know. But yeah, dude, congrats again. We've been talking, obviously this isn't a shock, but we've been talking about this for a while. It's what your org needs. Zach Wilson was the worst quarterback basically in football for 2 years in a row. What is he, I guess they'll try to trade him, or is he just going to be hanging around awkwardly?
I honestly think you got him on a rookie deal for 2 more years.
Yeah.
And then you got his rookie contract extension for the 5th year extension. If Rodgers plays this year and next year, that's his last 2 years of his rookie deal, and he can learn under Rodgers. We signed this guy Tim Boyle, who's buddy of Rodgers, to be the backup or the third string, and that guy can compete with Wilson to be the second backup or the third string. And we see where he goes. I think we're paying that guy the league minimum, $750K to back up, be the third stringer, so it doesn't matter. And Rodgers hopefully doesn't come off the field for the next 2 years. And when this is all said and done, they'll have a really good idea of whether Zach is ready because he'll actually have some time to sit and learn from a Hall of Famer. So who knows, man? Maybe this is, I don't want to say this is crazy talk, but this is probably crazy talk. I mean, if he sits behind him, he's a backup, and then he learns in 2 years, maybe he can take over in the 5th year, just like Jordan Love is doing right now. Maybe Rodgers says, I'm done. And who knows? Maybe Aaron Rodgers says, we're close. I'm only 41 because he's going to be 39-40 this year, 40-41 next year. I mean, we just saw Brady play until he was, 46?
46, yeah.
So maybe Rodgers plays until he's 44. Maybe he's here for another 5 years. Who knows?
I hope he is because it's going to be a great story. It's going to be a lot of fun. I don't love your chances overall in the AFC, just big picture, but then again, it's just on Joe to surround him with the talent, and Joe has. So if all these young guys coming up that were drafted the last 2 years hit, like why not? Why not the Jets? But
Right.
man,
I mean,
man,
dude,
that AFC is gonna be fun.
dude, football changes every year, and there's
Yeah.
fucking key injuries every year. Hopefully, there
Right.
won't be any key injuries to the Jets this year. We had our fucking gods plenty of them last year, and you never know what's going to happen. I mean, the Dolphins on paper look really good, but they still have a quarterback that's a concussion away from being out of the league. The Patriots, who knows? They don't look great, and you look at the Bills, and they've ascended, and then they've kind of plateaued the last 2 years.
They
They've
have.
added everything they can, and
They're going to
I'm not
start
going
to. Yeah, they're going to
go
start
ahead.
to deal with losing some players too. So,
Yeah, and on top of that, Allen, you guys, saw the last game against the Jets where Allen got his arm bent back. I mean, that definitely affected him, and that's what took Pennington out twice. That's what took Drew Brees out. I mean,
yeah,
he tried to play through it. So I think that had a lot to do with him not going as far in the playoffs. And I don't know what the rehab recovery or if he's done anything in the offseason about that. You still got Cincinnati and Kansas City, obviously the champs.
yep.
And, the Chargers can be formidable.
But then again, they're the Chargers. They find ways to not be.
Right.
So yeah. So why not? I mean, this is a playoff team, no doubt. We'll see about the division. You're right. AFC East is going to be it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, yeah, it's going to be fun. Exactly. But for the first time in a long time, Douglas, we're not the laughing stock so far. Not at least not on paper, right? I mean, I guess we have won a lot of off seasons, so maybe
plenty of blow up potential if halfway through the season Aaron Rodgers just eats a bunch of mushrooms and shows up to practice naked, shit like that. Can't wait. If so,
would that be the first time? I don't know.
No, probably not. So
it'll just get more and more media attention here in.
He's going to try to do the raw water thing, but with like New Jersey water and like grow an extra arm. Maybe that'll help.
That'll extend his career another 3 years, and then we don't have to worry about Zach Wilson. So as far we haven't had functional play at quarterback as a team
in our lifetime. But no, I'm kidding.
I mean, maybe since Brett Favre,
since Vinny.
No? Since I guess Fitzpatrick, that year we went 10-6. He was a functional quarterback. He's one of the best quarterbacks we've ever had in franchise history, which is fucking scary. So I think
very similar to Favre when he was on your team because they both kind of just slung it around.
Right.
So, yeah, but yeah, we're not talking about killer quarterbacks here.
No. Yeah, so I think
you guys should be celebrating.
I mean, I will definitely be buying an Aaron Rodgers jersey. It's happening. It's just
You don't own one already from all this fucking fantasy titles.
I mean, I own one as a Green Bay Packer, but
true.
I will now own one as a New York Jet as well. So
okay.
And I will say, I think we kind of talked about this a couple shows ago.
Yeah.
Justin Verlander, one of my favorite players of all time that was not a New York Met, and Aaron Rodgers is my favorite player of all time that was not a New York Jet. And now they both come home at the end of their careers. So hopefully they can do what nobody's been able to do in a long time and both win titles as their careers, they march off into the sunset, and that would be great.
And hopefully Justin Verlander plays this year before Aaron Rodgers does. We shall see.
Well, what do you think? I mean, he's getting ready to play. No, he's
I kid, but it's the Mets.
So Doug, what do you want to do here? Because we got a show where we got a lot of
we got a ton
angles
of shit to
we can take.
We got a ton of shit to do. So and we have another show in a few days, right?
Well, yeah. So we're gonna have to move that show up and maybe we do. Do you want to do our mock draft the day of the draft on Thursday or something along that line, so we can then get to all the playoff shit?
Yeah, I mean maybe, but I was gonna say if you have a mock draft ready, maybe we do it today, because
I don't.
I did not prepare one because the Giants are picking 25th, and
I think
I don't have any skin in the game in the top 10.
So here's what I'd like to do. I'd like to.
Okay.
Can we reconvene on Thursday? I got a pretty open day on Thursday. Are you available our normal time on Thursday? Possibly.
This is great live TV, guys.
It is, right? Scheduling.
Yeah.
Yes.
For the next meeting, I look off the top of my head. I think I am.
Okay, so what we'll do is we'll do our mock draft on Thursday right before the real draft, and then that way we can compare. We'll do the top 10, then we'll do the Jets, and we'll do the fucking Giants pick.
Oh,
and
man.
I think
you're going to make me do some picks. All right, fine.
But we'll do it on air. We'll do it on air, and we'll do it. Yeah. We'll do it on air, and we'll do it. Don't prepare. Just have like your top 50 board, and I'll do odds, you do evens, or something like that. It'll be fun. It'll be fun. Okay,
fair enough.
So let's talk about the New York Mets right now and keep the high going, and then we can talk about the lows after that.
Yeah, man.
So
I missed the last couple of days. I have not. I saw like 5 minutes of them combined. But since the Joey Lucchesi night, which I was really into after the Islanders win, I think it sounds like you watched the last couple of games. So they were 7-1 on the trip at that point, right?
Yes.
And they wrapped it up 7-3. So overall,
which is still
good West for them. They always
that is
shit out
sign
there,
me up. Sign me up for a 7-3 West Coast road trip every time. And even though we lost the last two to the Giants, who aren't doing that great, but we did. I will say we got their like number 1 and number 2 starter on Saturday and Sunday versus Peterson and McGill. And Peterson has not looked great in his last 2 outings. And McGill did not look great. He looked okay yesterday. Didn't look great.
Okay. They hung around, right? And then just the bullpen finally let him down. Bullpen's been pitching great overall, though.
Yeah, they're just getting taxed because Lucchesi's 7 innings was the longest outing of the year. We're almost in fucking May, bro.
I know, dude. Yeah, and this is actually something you get concerned about because I feel like this happens to the Mets a lot. They build a good bullpen, and when they're rested, they're good, but then they get overused early on and run out of gas. Curtis has already been sent down. A bunch of guys are on the DL.
Curtis was sent down. He wasn't pitching bad,
because he had options.
He had options, and I think they needed to bring up somebody else. They needed to bring up an arm. So it's interesting right now. We have 4/5 of our opening day projected starting rotation out.
Yeah,
and Kodai Senga is trying to figure out how to get out of the 5th inning.
Right.
David Peterson and Tyler McGill are trying to figure out how to get out of the 5th inning. Lucchesi looked great. He's a junk ball lefty, and that's something we haven't had in a long time.
The churve, baby. Love that churve. Yeah. But you're right. It's kind of we're piecing it together right now.
Piecing it together.
And obviously Max is having a quick vacation. Sweating rosin. I never want to hear that phrase again, but heard it a lot.
Oh, dude, that was on ESPN last night, and David Cohen. I'm like, dude, he goes through and does this whole sticky stuff and how it holds the ball and all this other stuff, and I'm like, dude, stick to jerking off in the bullpen in 1988, buddy. Yeah, come on. Like, you never doctored up the ball, my friend. So, and they made the good point. It's like, do players want slippery balls where they're going to get 95 mile per hour baseballs in the head? I don't know. This is the problem. And I never agree with Scott Boras, but Scott Boras said it best. There's no fucking measurement for how sticky someone's hand is. It's all subjective. And Phil Cuzzi is the only umpire that's thrown anyone out of a game for sticky stuff on their hands.
He is the Angel Hernandez of sweat and rosin. I come up with this shit on the fly, baby. Woo!
And I was at the game when that happened, by the way. So that was interesting. I went to the bathroom to go pee.
That's and I came back. God, this has been such a long week. I totally forgot about this. Yeah,
dude. I came back and everyone's laughing like, "Oh, Scherzer just got kicked out." And I'm like, "For what?" He had some foreign substances. He was cheating. And they're all Dodgers fans, obviously, and I'm one Mets fan. And I'm like, "Oh,
right,
go fuck yourself, guys." So
did they somehow win that game?
They sure did.
Yeah,
Brandon Nimmo,
man.
that was all Brandon Nimmo. And
Oh,
our bullpen pitched great. Jimmy
yeah.
Yacobonis.
Yacobonis, that's right.
Sounds like a fucking mobster of some sort.
I know, right? Jimmy 2 times Yacobonis. But dude, 2 out of 3 in LA. I mean the A's or whatever. That's just sad.
Right. Yes.
So sad. And then, you know, the first 2 in San Francisco, we never play well there.
Nope.
Unless we're shutting down Bonds and Kent in the 2000 NLCS. But I digress. Bonds looking. Oh God, what were we talking about? Oh yeah. So anyway, the Mets. We will.
So what's our overall record, Doug? What are we, 13-8 or something like that?
9.
14-9.
Half a game back from those Bravos who come into town. The Atlanta Barbs will be here this weekend.
Awesome.
First we have some Nationals, some baseball
let's,
players from Washington D.C., including Dom Smith. Welcome back, Dom.
Let's beat up on those Washington Nationals. We don't know who's starting Tuesday. Wednesday, I believe, is Senga, and I got to guess Thursday is Lucchesi again, right? So
I hope so.
And we can't recall Buto from the minors because Scherzer, because of the suspension, we can't fill his spot, and we have to just play.
Oh, is that the rule? I was wondering about
That's the rule. That's why we're screwed right now because we have to only carry 25 guys. We can't bring someone up to fill his space.
Oh,
so he has to be suspended.
That's why Curtis got dumped. Okay.
Yes.
So we're going to see some Uceta action and some Yacobonis action, as you mentioned.
Probably. It's probably going to be a bullpen start on Tuesday.
Yeah.
And then
all right.
This is where you miss Trevor Williams. And this is where I thought they would have a guy like Eliza Hernandez as the long man.
Where the hell is he, man?
He's on the injured list. I think he's got like shoulder impingement.
I know, but like I thought it was minor, but yeah, we could use.
Use some help. It's still April, my friend. It's still April. I mean, these guys he missed a good portion of the end of spring training. So Max threw. Is that correct? Max threw bullpen session.
Again, it's been a long few days for me. I have no idea.
Max threw a bullpen session. He threw like 43 pitches in a simulated game, and they're going to try and get him a start next week, or I guess it will be this week now. So, a minor league start, and then I think he can probably be back in like 10 days. So we're looking at, right around the time they thought he'd be back. He's looking on track. Max will be back in 10 days, right? He's not hurt. He's already been out. What?
Well, let's hope. I mean, I don't think this, but I'll go ahead and be anxious about it. Maybe he was trying to get an edge because he knows he's losing it.
But it's also early in the season, and I also, if it was a different ump, if it was like not the same fucking psycho ump that's done this 3 times. I had the same thought. So I give that thought some ilk, and maybe there's something to that. But I also think this is, this guy is on a fucking mission to be the fucking sticky ump that knocks everyone out of the games. I don't think Max has looked particularly great since the beginning of the year. So if he's doctoring up the ball so much that he needs to doctor it up more. I think he's just
plus the end of last year. So that's.
I think he's rounding into shape. I think he'll be fine. I think he just needs to keep doing what he's doing, and he's a professional. I'm not overly concerned with him.
As long as he's ready to go in September, obviously October.
Right. Exactly.
Even if he has to miss some time. However, it would be nice to see Justin Verlander at this point. Because of everything we just said in the last 10 minutes, man. Like we're stretching out Dennis Reyes or whatever his name is. Buto you mentioned. Maybe Dylan Bundy shows up at some point.
Probably.
The times are tough. So we really need guys like Joey and Tyler and David Peterson to figure it out. And that's a good point, man. I don't know what's up with him last few starts, but
his walks are too high. He's putting too many people on base, and he's not getting that big out when he needs it. Tyler, I think, just had not a great outing against the Giants last time, but I think before that he's pitched pretty well. Yeah, he hasn't pitched poorly. So and Kodai's just he's just getting his feet on the ground in the U.S. game.
Yeah.
So I think he's going. I think you see what you get from him. He reminds me a lot of Nomo. When if you remember, Nomo had that crazy split
funky wind up,
and he would
nasty stuff.
He would be around the strike zone, which made him more difficult to hit, but he would walk a lot of people. And I think you get the same thing from Senga.
Especially when he was on the Mets, unfortunately. That did not work out here.
That was garbage.
Yeah, I think we only traded like Dave Malicki for him, so I'm not mad at that one. But
no, we got him at the end of his career, and I remember going to a game with you. If you remember this game,
dude, we went to the first game.
Yes,
as a Met,
and
Tampa Bay, maybe.
I don't know. He struck out a couple people, and then I think he got bombed in the 5th inning or something. And it was lights out. So
the only thing I remember from that night is they tried to get a Nomo chant started on the scoreboard, and everybody's like, it's like Nomo.
Yep. I'll never forget that. I was like, no, we don't want to do that. So overall, though, 14-9. 5 games over 500 with literally 4/5 of our starting staff out. The Bats have finally woken up since Milwaukee, and everyone's freaked out that we were the worst team the highest priced worst team in baseball.
Yeah, that's
after fucking 7 games, right,
dude? So Pete already has 10 bombs. Let's give a shout out to him. He's been great.
25 RBIs. I mean, the guy's on pace for like 150 RBIs and like 50 home runs.
Lindor's doing his thing. He's got his 120 OPS usual, a lot of RBIs. I love his game. Oh my God, it's so much fun to watch him and Guillorme at turn 2 or just be in the middle of that infield. And a squirrel hasn't killed himself in the outfield yet, thank God. He's got his 130 OPS, so he's cooking. Brandon Nimmo is cooking. My God, I love this guy. Thank God he resigned.
Thank God he resigned.
Signs of life from Vogelchunk.
Yep.
And, Marte will figure it out. I'm not worried about him. We still have 2 problem spots in the lineup, but it's, again, as you said, it's April. And there's some young guys trying to get their feet wet.
Yep.
And we'll see what happens. I don't have too many. I don't have any doom and gloom for you on the Mets right now.
No, I don't
know why you would.
Here's how I feel. Brett Beatty's going to be fine. You guys got what you wanted. The pitchforks can be put away now. Escobar and Pham can figure out what they want to do. I don't think Tim LeCastro is coming back to this team. Doug, I think you called it last week. I think Escobar will probably play against tough lefties, and Beatty will continue to play against righties and probably some lefties. But Alvarez looks lost, and I think
a little bit. It was good to see he knocked one out yesterday.
I missed that. He did hit a home run.
Yeah, he's ahead of Nito in the OPS battle. You want to hear what they are right now?
Well, they're both in the low 400s. I'm going to assume.
Yeah, Alvarez is in the positives. He has an 11 OPS. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm going OPS plus. I'll do OPS. That's easier. He has a 407 OPS. And Tomas Nito, who I don't hate, but Jesus Christ, man, his OPS is 281.
Right.
And for all you who don't know what we're talking about, on base plus slugging.
I mean, you basically have to get a couple of singles and a couple of walks.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. You need to be over 700 to be an actual starter. So we have a 400 guy and a 280 guy. Same story at third, right? Do you know what Escobar's OPS is? If you had to guess,
it was in the twos last, but I think he had a home run, so it's probably
it's creeping up. He is 477.
Okay,
and Brett Beatty in his first week or two has put up a 511. So wow, onward and upward.
Yeah, man. And then the other big news, Doug. News is, and this is long term thought process, and maybe not even long term, but maybe they moved Ronnie Mauricio to second base.
Thank you for mentioning that.
He has been raking in the minor leagues. He hasn't stopped since the Dominican Winter League. Crushed it in spring training, and he crushed it all through Syracuse the first month. And they moved him to second base, which I think gives you a little insight to what the Mets are thinking going forward. I think, last year I was willing to give Maurizio up for whoever to get Wilson Contreras in here or something at the deadline.
You were.
And now I see why Epler didn't, because he's probably the most potent bat of all four of those guys. Highest ceiling, lowest floor, let's say that.
Well, absolutely. You want a guy like that to work out. He's that guy with all the tools, all the raw talent, but the guy who swings at everything, right? And just has a raw game, and like maybe it doesn't translate. But if he can become our Alfonso Soriano, which he kind of profiles as, right? Like same kind of like body type and player. Soriano started as an infielder. I think
he did.
Second base.
Started as second baseman, then he moved to left field, and then he was the DH at the end.
But you know what? You know what that also sounds like? Like kind of a mini McNeil. So he might have that position versatility. He can obviously play short. He's not going to play short in Flushing, but you can put him at second now probably. And
he's been playing some third.
He knows how to play third, and maybe eventually you throw him in a corner outfield position. Who knows?
Or I mean, Canna's contract is up after this year.
Yeah.
So are you getting ready to put McNeil as your full-time left fielder, and then Maurizio is your second baseman? And it still, to your point, gives you versatility. Okay, you want to play a righty in left field against a tough lefty, and you want to put McNeil at second, or you want to do something along those lines, right?
Sure.
So there's a lot of versatility that's coming down the pike. We still, these four kids, there's a spot for all four of them on the team if they can just hit.
What is Mauricio, like 21, 22 still? He's young. Just like Alvarez and Beatty. And you're right, the four kids, because we should give a shout out to Mark Vientos, who is absolutely raking as well.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
I don't know where he fits right now, but he deserves a call up at some point.
Well, I think there's a lot of guys on 1-year deals or at the end of their last year. A guy like Canna and a guy like Pham could easily be replaced by a guy like Maurizio and a guy. Well, I think Escobar's got a team option, so he could be on his last year of his
deal. Does he have a team option? Okay.
I think we have a team option for him next year that is, I don't know what it's probably worth, $10 million or something like that.
And I like all these guys. I'm a Mark Canna fan. I don't mind Escobar.
Yeah.
But you're right. They're on the back end. They're back nine of their careers. So
yeah, and these are guys that, in the way we play the splits and the platoons, Vientos is your DH against lefties. He can be that Tommy Pham or what Darren Ruff was supposed to be, and he can play a little third, maybe a little left field, a little right field, a little first. You got Maurizio, who knows what he's going to do, right? Once we get him enough, and he'll probably take the whole year in AAA, and they'll probably get him in left field, and they'll probably get him in right field. And then McNeil, they got him back out in left, right, and second. Maybe Guillorme, I don't know how many more years he has left, and maybe you re-sign Escobar as your backup infielder instead, and then that guy can play second, short, third, first, and you let Beatty have that full-time at second, short, third, whatever I'm trying to say, third base. So we'll see, man. There's a lot of versatility that's still coming down the pike with this team. So
it's really cool because, regimes in the past would have traded these guys like Mauricio, Vientos. And I was guilty of throwing these guys into trade proposals over the years too. Like, I'm not saying I'm like ivory tower, like I know better, but it's nice that they're still in the deck. Yep. And I think you're exactly right about moving these guys in organically as they develop. Now, one thing I want to ask: everybody talks about this thing called the Dodgers model. You know what I mean?
Yes.
When I say that, so this is part of it, right? Like Beatty graduating, Alvarez maybe graduating, but also like spending a zillion dollars. Is that the Dodgers? Or like
the Dodgers model was to spend money while you waited for talent to develop and keep developing more talent, and then filling, while that talent's not developed, the holes with money, which we did this year. But I don't think, that's just like the fucking media liking to write what they want to write. Because
I'm kidding around.
Cohen referenced that was kind of their thought process, but we're putting our own spin on it. And, we've kept a lot of homegrown guys. We got to re-sign Pete. We just re-signed Jeff and Brandon. We kept Nimmo. I mean, we kept Diaz. And we've backfilled the starting pitching, and I think that's where we're differing. We don't have those high end arms coming down the pike yet.
They're nowhere. No one's really close, if anyone's even in this system. So you're right about that, and that needs to be a priority. But everything else, pardon me, Big Cranky was nice. Everything else was good. I'm gonna wash it down with a long drink because I do like talking about the Mets, and I have a feeling we're gonna transition to another team soon that does not use the Dodger model. They instead chase overpriced veterans to keep a mediocrity alive.
Let's do that. Let's talk about do
you want to say goodbye to the Nets first?
No, we'll do that. Well, that can be via Con Dios. Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Well, that's an easy one.
Let's talk about the Isles. Isles.
Oh, Christ.
So we're down 3-1. It's not looking good, Doug. I will say we got fucked in game 2.
Yeah, game 2 is the difference. We agree.
Yeah, we got fucked in game 2.
And that's probably what we should talk about is game 2 because there's a lot going on.
We were down 2-0. We came back and tied it, went to overtime. Barzell's back, scored a goal to put it to overtime. In overtime, Jesper Fast, is that his name? I don't know. Fast, whatever.
Yeah.
Skates in. Skates in, pinches in on the blue line, and whips his stick around, trying to hold the puck in, right? And tomahawk chops Scott Mayfield across the face.
In the face.
With the ref looking right at it, and Mayfield goes to the ground, and then Fest picks the puck up.
Can I hit pause here?
Yep.
This is an overtime of a game after the Carolina Panthers, the Carolina Whaler Canes had 6 power plays, and the Islanders had how many? I hate complaining about the refs. You know that. I hate it. But how do you not? And that wasn't the only thing, though. Let's rewind. Let's not even do the overtime yet. The absolute fluke goal that went off of our Sebastian Aho's stick into the net from the blue line. I've never seen that before. Ilya he was human that night. He had a bad night. He did not cover the top shelf that Slavin hit. We had a 3-2 lead with 8 minutes left. We were feeling good. Man, Sorokin came up a little small, and that game, and you're right. And then, Barzy, it was a great pushback. This team always falls down in the first period, right? It's been 24 games in a row that they haven't had the lead after one. That's ridiculous. It's ridiculous. So anyway, there's never any margin for error with this team, and that's why game 2 hurts so much, because not only did Mayfield get high sticked in the face right before the goal, right, and also
in front of the fucking
right
ref's
in
face.
front of the ref. He's holding his head, and then he goes to talk to the ref. Anders Lee misses a breakout pass from Matt Barzal, and I guess doesn't realize or is just too damn slow to get back to cover Mayfield's spot. And whoever scored the winner was wide open there for the one-timer. It lights out. So I blame the ref, but I blame I think we're getting out-coached here. And it's a tragedy because this team is beatable. The Hurricanes are going to get stomped next round. Do you agree?
Oh yeah, all we've done is soften them up even more than they were to take them into round 2. I mean, our plan is very cut and dry. It's fucking bring the pain and hit them so that they don't want to get hit. And we've been hitting them and hitting them and hitting them.
And that's what got us in trouble yesterday, by the way.
Yeah, that's what I didn't get to see the game, but what
you didn't
happened?
even see the game? Yeah.
I didn't get to see the game. So what happened yesterday?
Came out like gangbusters again, riding that game 3 momentum in the first couple of minutes. But then there was a questionable call on Parisi about 5 minutes in where he got pushed on the goalie, but they called it on him, goalie interference, when the Islanders were buzzing, circling. Power play Carolina in the first 5 minutes. Of course they score. And of course we're down once again, 1-0 in the first period. And they still play okay. And then Matty Martin, because I think, as you mentioned, the game plan was to kind of rough these guys up. and it's working. I mean, in theory, it works. But I think Matt Martin got a little too, the refs, I think, were also looking for us after game 3 too. I don't know. I feel like Lambert should have said more than like no comment about the refs, and because Brindamore has been bitching the whole series, even when they were up 2-0, right? Anyway, Matt Martin takes a really stupid penalty at the end of the first. So here we go again. We're on the kill to start the second, and then it's 2-0. And then a few minutes later, Romanov flubs or just whiffs on a dump into the zone, and it's a 2-on-1. We can't cover it, and it's 3-0, and the game's basically over. And
right.
It's deflating because you watched game 3, I think, and first game in UBS, place is rocking.
Yep.
And we beat their. I mean, it took a while. The last 5 minutes, they scored 4 goals. But yes. God, like the floodgates opened, and that was a hell of a satisfying win. And
yes, it was.
I told you, and my in-laws were down from LA. They don't know hockey from rugby, but I made them watch the game on Friday night. They had their they're waving sticks around. They had their hats on. They were all fired up. So I was like, you guys are off the hook for Sunday. You don't have to watch with me. Just leave me alone. Nope. They were like, yeah, we're going to do it again. And then they had to watch that stinker yesterday. Ugh. So here we are. I mean, it's not impossible. I still have my stupid playoff beard, but yeah, we're down 3-1. And Carolina kind of has our number over the years.
I trimmed mine because I wasn't feeling great about it.
I saw that, man.
Well, after going down 3-1, what are you going to do, Doug?
Right.
Sometimes you just lick your wounds, and it's going to be really difficult to come back. We're both realists here. We both know the series is pretty much over.
It's a funeral tomorrow, I think. I mean, it's possible they win.
Probably, and then we can start talking about the off season and what happens after that. But until then, let's let this team play. They are tough. But to your point, what has happened now is we have softened Carolina up even already more to make them softer than they already are. And
Fraud.
Again, game 3, Pajot checks Neckus into the over the boards into the Islanders bench. He gets up and punches Brock Nelson in the face.
Who's just sitting there. Yeah, nothing.
No call. And then that's what happened at the end of the game. Obviously, Casey and Matt went after anybody because they were like, fuck you guys. We are tired of your antics. And to your point, the reps were probably looking for it yesterday.
They were looking for it yesterday for sure, and which sucks. We should have known. And I'm not making excuses for Carolina because they have a hell of a coach and they're a good team. They have choked us out in terms of like the attack for the most part, but they're missing like 3 of their top forwards as well. So again, I don't care about next round. We should be in the next round. This has been a winnable series, and that's why it's frustrating. They could have won game 1 as well.
You said it best, buddy. You said it best. We cannot recover, and we cannot
once they get up.
We cannot make the first mistake. And this team, they are really, really difficult for us. They are a matchup nightmare for us on offense because they forecheck us and they do not give us time with the puck.
We don't have any on the power play. They pressure the points, and Noah Dobson cannot handle that. And there's been problems.
Yep.
I haven't mentioned the power play yet, so I'm sorry I cut you off, but I had to mention how bad that's been.
No, I mean that to your point. I mean, it's been any time
that's been the difference.
We haven't had any sustained offensive zone time in this entire series because it's
been a tough watch.
It's chip and chase, and then it's try to set something up, and hopefully they make a mistake, and they don't make a lot of mistakes, and they pressure the puck, and we don't have skilled puck handlers on our team. We have a couple, but we don't have enough. To your point,
we have two.
We can roll our lines, and we forecheck, so they play our game too. And that's the problem. It's like they do not respect us with the puck. And so when we have the puck, unless it's Barzal, maybe Aho, they aren't.
That's it.
They're not.
That's the list.
Yeah, they're just putting, as soon as the puck's on our stick, they're going for us and they're making us try to make a pass and hopefully forcing an errant pass. And they've been forcing a lot of errant passes. So that's why they're a tough team to play.
It's like fighting a better version of yourself.
Correct.
Like if I had to get in the ring with myself who trained for a year, yeah, I'm going to get my ass kicked.
Right.
We're getting outclassed, both talent-wise and I think coaching. I don't think Lane's getting fired. I don't know about you, but
it's going to be a fascinating offseason. It's going to be a fascinating offseason.
It might be a dead offseason because they're capped.
Well, we'll see. We'll see because there's got to be some movement of some sort. You do have, unless you just let Engvall walk and you replace him with Wahlstrom, right? And then maybe you don't. Maybe you just let it be, and then we don't spend any money. And I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting. We're going to need a backup goaltender, and we're going to need to figure out Parise if he's coming back or not, right?
Yeah.
So I don't know. Are we going to run it back again with the same core? Yes. I think we'll probably buy out Bailey, but we can talk about all that after the season's over. I don't want to get into next year yet.
Exactly. In the meantime, though, I'll be watching tomorrow night. I'll be rooting.
I will too be watching until we're down multiple goals, right? So
let's hope I still have this for our draft show in a couple of days.
That would be cool. That would be cool. Maybe it's 3-3. Maybe it's 3-3 by that point.
Exactly.
Getting close, right? Or at least 3-2. So the last thing we'll talk about here is the Brooklyn Nets. We'll do an early, unless you have something else to do Via Con Dios with. I'll do an early Via Con Dios. Then we'll talk about it. Via Con Dios, Brooklyn Nets season.
Yeah, that's an easy one. Yep.
Swept 4 games, clean swept Philadelphia 76ers, who are a good team. They're a good team, and we're not there yet. But
no,
I do like what I saw from this team, and I do think that there's hope and there's a light. This team is not just a walking corpse like they were after the Kevin Garnett trade a couple years ago and all that shit went sideways. They actually recovered well with everything they got from the KD and the Kyrie trade. They have the 3rd most draft picks in the league between now and 2030. So we're stocked at draft picks, which, not that I'm looking 7 years into the future to say we're going to be in a good spot. It just means we have, ammunition to go out and make a deal. We're under the cap, and we've got a bunch of guys that are valuable assets to teams, and a bunch of 3-and-D guys, which teams are looking for. Apparently, Royce O'Neal, Spencer Dinwiddie, Dorian Finney-Smith, these guys were all there was offers made for them at the deadline that the Nets didn't want to pull the trigger on. O'Neal, Joe Harris, and Spencer Dinwiddie are all going into their last year of their deals. These are guys that can be dealt for a rental, for more draft picks. And then we can see what happens with any of the stars around the league. And if a star shakes loose,
you could be in a destination again. Absolutely.
I think so. I think between Mikal Bridges and Cam Johnson, we've got and Nick Claxton, we've got another little nucleus starting to grow. And I think Jacques Vaughn is the coach, and that is finally we have a coach who's not a fucking cheerleader, a glorified cheerleader. And
you guys have come a long way since October, whenever the season started.
Yep.
I saw about 10 minutes of this series. It seemed like O'Neal was at least hanging in, holding his own against Embiid. And
we were putting a 6'7" small forward against Embiid. It's just
good luck, dude. But this is not embarrassing. It just looked like you couldn't knock down the shots when you needed to. They're a good team. James
Harden and Joel Embiid and Tyrese Maxey are all good players.
And Harris,
yeah, he's their 4th guy. He would be probably our second option on our team. So.
Right.
I will say I feel on that we went out on a. No one wants to get swept, but I feel like the way we ended the season through all the turmoil we went through over the last 3.5 years and where we've come out of that, I feel like we're in a good direction. Simmons is going to be the linchpin. Is he going to come back and play, or is he going to be the salary that we use to pick up a max level player? And it could be one or the other. Who knows? But we got a lot of options, and I think Mikal Bridges has established himself as a premier young 3 in the league.
Yeah.
And we've got a bunch of other guys that
he was a great get. So yeah, you got. Look, the future's looking a lot brighter than the Islanders' future. That's for sure. If you're going to compare the two franchises, so
100%. So, all right, Dougie. Well, it's been a great show. We're going to be back real quick, 2 in 1 week for the first time ever, I believe. We'll do our draft, mock draft, have some fun with that, talk a little bit more about the NFL. We'll focus on the Giants and the Jets, and we'll talk about that on Thursday. So
we shall. Get ready for some shitty picks, at least from on my part, because I haven't studied.
It'll be fun now. It'll be fun.
Football? Yeah, I take such a football vacation usually most years. I mean, last year was different, right? Because we both our teams had top 10 picks, man. That was more of an outlier for me, but yeah, I'll do my best, Mikey.
All right, Dougie, it's been great. Audience, we'll see you in a couple of days. Let me just shut this down over here. Cool.